超越700 CET 听力专项训练4集，由复旦大学电子音像出版社录制出版。
Listening Comprehension for Band 4. Test 1. Section A. Short Conversations. Directions. In this section you will hear 8 short conversations. At the end of each conversation, a question will be asked about what was said. The conversation and the question will be read only once. After each question, there will be a pause. During the pause, you must read the 4 suggested answers, marked A, B, C, and D, and decide which is the best answer. Then blacken the corresponding letter on the answer sheet.
1. Did you hear John is in the hospital with head injuries and a broken arm?
Yes. Apparently he was struck by another vehicle and turned completely over.
Question. What happened to John?
Two. In the old days, people took pride in their work and built things to last.
Nowadays, you're lucky if they don't fall apart before you get them home.
Question. How do the man and woman feel about products manufactured nowadays? Three. May I help you?
How much does this desk cost?
It's $99.99, but this week we're having a sale, so it's 1/3 off the regular price.
Question. What is the sale price of the desk? Four. Would you like to come mountain climbing with us?
That's the last thing in the world that I ever want to do.
Question. What does the man mean?
Five. I'm going to be up all night studying for my exam.
Do you really think that's wise?
Question. What does the woman imply?
Six. Since it's raining so hard, let's go in and see the new exhibit.
That's a good idea. Mary Doucet is one of my favorite painters.
Question. Where does this conversation probably take place?
Seven. Since I didn't even begin my project, I might not go to class today.
Are you kidding? That would only put you further behind.
Question. What is the woman's opinion?
Eight. What's keeping you, Jack? Dinner is almost ready.
I'll drive over right away. I was helping my secretary move into her new apartment, or I would already be there.
Question. Where did this conversation take place? Section B.
Longer dialogues.
Directions. In this section, you will hear 2 longer dialogues. At the end of each dialogue, 5 questions will be asked about what was said. The dialogue and the questions will be spoken only once. After each question, there will be a pause. During the pause, you must read the 4 suggested answers marked A, B, C, and D, and decide which is the best answer. Then blacken the corresponding letter on the answer sheet. Dialogue 1.
Hello, Professor Ward speaking.
Hello, my name is Jane McDonald. I'd like to take your course on medicinal plants.
I'm sorry, there are already too many students in that class.
I know, but I am a student from another university, and I'll be here only 2 semesters. The course isn't offered at my school, and I think it would be interesting.
I see. Have you studied much botany? It's an advanced course, you know.
Yes, I am majoring in biology, and I've also done some economic botany on my own.
Well, I'll do my best. Why don't you come to my office about next week? I'll be in all day Wednesday. I can tell you more about the class and the other courses here. In any case, you'll have to see Professor Chambers to get his approval. If all else fails, you can register for my course in the spring. We will cover many of the same topics then.
Thanks. I'll be in Wednesday.
Questions 9 to 13 are based on the dialogue you have just heard.
9. Why is Jane calling Professor Ward?
(10) What problem is involved in registering for the class?
(11) What's Jane's major?
(12) What does Jane have to do before she registers for the course?
(13) What can Jane do if she can't take Professor Ward's class?
Dialogue 2. What a lot of traffic!
Well, I told you, dear, didn't I? I said the roads would be busy.
Oh, just look at that idiot. I wonder where he thinks he's going.
Do take it easy. Change down. You're going much too fast.
Are you trying to tell me how to drive?
Here's a zebra. Slow down. Good heavens, what's that woman doing?
She's being hit. It was that van.
How terrible. We'd better stop.
It's nothing to do with us.
But we must stop. Perhaps we can help.
Oh, all right. I hope we won't be too long. Where can we pull in?
There's space. Give a signal.
I am giving a signal. Let me do it my way, will you?
Well, pull in quickly, dear.
Questions 14 to 18 are based on the dialogue you have just heard.
14. What is the woman complaining about?
(15) What do speakers see?
(16) What does the woman suggest the man do?
(17) What is the man's concern?
(18) What do they do at last?
Section C, Short Passages. Directions. In this section, you will hear 3 short passages. At the end of each passage, you will hear a number of questions. Both the passage and the questions will be read only once. After you hear one question, you must choose the best answer from the 4 choices marked A, B, C, and D. Then blacken the corresponding letter on the answer sheet. Passage 1.
In the United States, from 10 to 15% of all children between the ages of 5 and 17 have one or more learning disabilities. Early diagnosis and treatment are important because specialized teaching techniques can help many of these students overcome their disabilities and succeed in school. Learning problems may continue into adulthood unless a child receives help. Physicians cannot always discover the specific cause of a child's learning disability, but scientists believe that most learning disabilities result from minor damage to the brain or to major nerves leading to the brain. For example, illness or poor nutrition in a pregnant woman can injure the brain tissue and nervous system of her unborn child. The use of drugs, tobacco, or alcohol during pregnancy may also contribute to the development of learning disabilities. Brain damage can occur at birth if the baby's brain does not receive enough oxygen. Such damage can take place during a long, difficult birth. A child also may inherit a learning disability. Many other factors may increase a child's chances of developing a learning disability. An imbalance of certain chemicals in the body or a lack of nutritious foods can delay or permanently damage the development of the nervous system. Medical research suggests that certain chemicals, especially lead used in paint, may trigger learning disabilities in some children.
Questions 19 to 21 are based on the passage you have just heard.
19. What percentage of American children between the ages of 5 and 17 suffer from learning disabilities?
Which of the following is not mentioned as a cause of a child's learning disabilities?
According to the passage, what might damage the development of the nervous system permanently? Passage 2.
One of the most attractive features of many community colleges is their wide range of technical training programs. Less than a third of the community college graduates continue their studies for bachelor's degrees. Special occupational programs allow students to take only those courses that interest them or that qualify them for better jobs. Many community colleges have an open-door admissions policy. This policy allows students who might not qualify for admission to other colleges to continue their education. Many community colleges have set up special programs for students who work during the day. The students may have classes until 10 or 11 p.m. or later. Evening classes are so popular that some community colleges have a larger number of evening students than they do day students. Some community colleges have established weekend colleges so that students can earn associate's degrees by attending classes on the weekends. Many community colleges try to provide educational programs that will benefit local business, industry, and government. They may conduct surveys to determine what types of trained personnel the community needs most. They may also ask community leaders to help plan courses of study. Some community colleges in large cities have developed special social and educational programs for disadvantaged minority groups. Many community colleges emphasize programs for older adults, including job retraining and cultural development.
Questions 22 to 24 are based on the passage you have just heard.
22. What does the open door admissions policy mean?
'23. Why are evening classes in some community colleges so popular?
'24. Which of the following do many community colleges do to benefit the community? Passage 3.
Copyright is a branch of law granting authors the exclusive privilege to reproduce, distribute, perform, or display their creative works. The goal of copyright law is to encourage authors to invest effort in creating new works of art and literature. Copyright is one branch of the larger legal field known as intellectual property, which also includes trademark and patent law. Not every product of the human imagination is eligible for copyright. To qualify for copyright protection, a work must be both fixed and original. The law considers a work to be fixed if it is recorded in some permanent format. Acceptable ways of fixing a work include writing it down, storing it on a computer floppy disk, recording it on videotape, or sculpting it in marble. If a poet thinks of a new poem and recites it to an audience before writing it down, copyright does not protect the poem because it is not fixed. To be original, the work must not be copied from previously existing material and must display at least a reasonable amount of creativity. Short phrases and titles are usually not protected by copyright, but in some circumstances they may be protected by trademark law. Copyright only protects the words, notes, or images that the creator has used. It does not protect any ideas or concepts revealed by the work. If, for example, a scientist publishes an article explaining a new process for refining oil, the copyright prevents others from copying the words of that article. It does not, however, prevent anyone else from using the process described to refine oil. To protect the process, the scientist must obtain a patent.
Questions 25 to 28 are based on the passage you have just heard.
25. What is the purpose of copyright law according to this passage?
'26. According to the passage, which of the following might not be protected by copyright law?
'27. Which of the following items may be protected by trademark law?
28. What does the speaker mainly talk about? Section D. Compound Dictation. Directions. In this section, you will hear a passage 3 times. When the passage is read for the first time, you should listen carefully for its general idea. Then, listen to the passage again. When the passage is read for the second time, you are required to fill in the blanks numbered from S1 to S8 with the exact words you have just heard. For blanks numbered from S9 to S11, you are required to fill in the missing information. You can either use the exact words you have just heard or write down the main points in your own words. Finally, when the passage is read for the third time, you should check what you have written. There is a small rural town somewhat northeast to the city of Niagara Falls, New York. One evening, a resident of the town called the local volunteer fire department to request assistance in removing their cat from a tree. Since this was a questionable call, the fire control dispatcher called the fire chief at home to ask if he wanted to respond. The chief said, "Sure, call out the department." The fire department responded with a rescue truck which had an extension ladder. The tree, however, was too tall and willowy to support the weight of the extension ladder. Rather than send men back to the fire hall to bring the aerial ladder truck, one of the firefighters suggested an alternative course of action. 2 of the firefighters supported the ladder, while a third climbed high enough to tie a rope around the tree at about half its height. The other end of the rope was tied to a trailer hitch on a pickup truck, with the truck slowly driven forward, forcing the tree to bend over. One firefighter was poised to grab the cat as soon as it was within his reach. Just then, the knot securing the rope to the trailer hitch slipped free. The cat was last seen airborne heading south toward the city of Niagara Falls and was never seen again.
Now the passage will be read again.
There is a small rural town somewhat northeast to the city of Niagara Falls, New York. One evening, a resident of the town called the local volunteer fire department to request assistance in removing their cat from a tree. Since this was a questionable call, the fire control dispatcher called the fire chief at home to ask if he wanted to respond. The chief said, "Sure, call out the department." The fire department responded with a rescue truck which had an extension ladder. The tree, however, was too tall and willowy to support the weight of the extension ladder. Rather than send men back to the fire hall to bring the aerial ladder truck, one of the firefighters suggested an alternative course of action. 2 of the firefighters supported the ladder, while a third climbed high enough to tie a rope around the tree at about half its height. The other end of the rope was tied to a trailer hitch on a pickup truck, with the truck slowly driven forward, forcing the tree to bend over. One firefighter was poised to grab the cat as soon as it was within his reach. Just then, the knot securing the rope to the trailer hitch slipped free. The cat was last seen airborne heading south toward the city of Niagara Falls and was never seen again.
Now the passage will be read for the third time.
There is a small rural town somewhat northeast to the city of Niagara Falls, New York. One evening, a resident of the town called the local volunteer fire department to request assistance in removing their cat from a tree. Since this was a questionable call, the fire control dispatcher called the fire chief at home to ask if he wanted to respond. The chief said, "Sure, call out the department." The fire department responded with a rescue truck which had an extension ladder. The tree, however, was too tall and willowy to support the weight of the extension ladder. Rather than send men back to the fire hall to bring the aerial ladder truck, one of the firefighters suggested an alternative course of action. Two of the firefighters supported the ladder, while a third climbed high enough to tie a rope around the tree at about half its height. The other end of the rope was tied to a trailer hitch on a pickup truck, with the truck slowly driven forward, forcing the tree to bend over. One firefighter was poised to grab the cat as soon as it was within his reach. Just then, the knot securing the rope to the trailer hitch slipped free. The cat was last seen airborne heading south toward the city of Niagara Falls and was never seen again.